Hello and welcome. Right, so today's job is going to be to change the brake fluid here. I've had this bike for 2.5 years. I've never changed the brake fluid in it. It should be changed every 2 years, and the brake lever is getting very spongy. So I think it's definitely due time to change those. So that's what I'm going to do now. My brake fluid is quite nasty stuff, especially on paintwork. So what I'm going to do is just put a couple of rags just around to protect that area. I've got an old towel there, which I'll put there, and just put that around there just to protect from any spills. Hopefully there won't be any spills, but any little drops that might stray. So we need to carefully get this lid off the reservoir. Very, very gently. Okay. So the way this works, as fluid is used and fluid goes down, no air should be in this system. So this diaphragm, which would normally be like that, as the fluid goes down, this diaphragm moves out and replaces where the fluid was. So there's no air actually this side of the diaphragm. So we need to I'll give that out, and we'll give that a very good clean as well. So the way we're going to replace the brake fluid is we're going to pump this brake fluid through the system, and as it's going through, we're going to add new brake fluid in on top. So all this old brake fluid will gradually go through, and the new brake fluid will come in behind it. But there's quite a lot there in the reservoir, so what I'm going to do first is just take some of that fluid out, because there's no point in pumping all the old fluid through. So I'm just going to take a bit of that out before we start doing this. A brake fluid absorbs lots of water, so it's always best to use a new batch of it every time. And what I'm going to do is just put a little pouring hole on one side and a little drain hole through the other, just to make it easier pouring. Now I've already drained some fluid out of this. The way we're going to do this is we're going to add new brake fluid on top of this old fluid, and then we're going to suck the old fluid out through the system, replacing the old, as the old fluid goes through, replacing it with new fluid. But there's no point, this was up full, up near to the top, so there's no point in sucking all of that through. So I just drained some of it out to make it easy. Now I'm just going to put some fresh new fluid in there on top. So what we're going to do first is just bleed the master cylinder. So if we take off our little cover, I'm taking the cover off. I'm going to take this off completely, just so I've got some room to put a spanner in around here and put my hose onto the top of it. So I've got an 8mm spanner, which I'm putting on there. And then I'm just going to connect up my hose, clear pipe, to the bottom there. Okay. And then with this little suction doodah, I can just build up a little bit of pressure on that. Then open this valve. And then you'll see, as I open the valve, it starts to pull through. See all those air bubbles just getting rid of. So we can just suck those out. Wow, there's lots of air in there. All right, pressure on again. So now down at the brakes, what I'm going to do is take off that little valve cap. And I'm going to take that off completely, like with the master cylinder, just so I can get the spanner in there easier. And it gives more room to attach my suction hose onto on there. So what I do now is with this, build up the pressure on that. So this is all pressurized now. So then when I open up the valve, it starts sucking fluid through. Right, let's close it again. Build up that pressure. And open it again. I'm not using this properly. Doesn't seem to be a lot coming out. Maybe I'm not building the pressure up enough. Need to put it higher. I don't think that's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the old way of doing it. So that cheapy eBay thingy, I thought would be great for doing this, but I can't seem to get it to work properly. I don't know if it's just crap or if it's just me being crap or what it is. But anyway, I'm going to do this the way I used to always do it, which is I've got a hose, a little pipe on the bleed nipple with a spanner to open and close it, and into a container to catch the fluid. So what we do is we pump rather than suck it through with that vacuum pump. What we're going to do now is just pump it through with the brake lever. So what we do is open the valve down there, pull the brake in to pump the fluid through, then close the valve, then release the brake. So what I need to do now is open the valve, pump the brake, and it pumps fluid through, close the valve and release the brake. The same again. Open the valve, pump, close, release. So it's open, pump, close, release. Open, pump, close, release. Open, pump, close, release. Okay, so I think we've got a lot through on that side. I've put through, I've filled the reservoir 3 times. So I reckon, now I've got lots of tissue here. This is, how do we get the rest of that out? Let it run down, get as much of it out as we can. Okay, make sure that's nice and tight. Get rid of some of that over there. Don't forget to put your cap back on again. There we are. And now time to do the other side. The other side should be easier because it's the same side as the brake lever. So it's the very same procedure for this side. I'm going to take that cap off. It's a snug fit. Now I'm going to take it off again. I'm going to just take it off completely, just so I can get my spanner on there easier. What side are we? Is that it? Okay, and there. Put a little pipe in there. Nice snug fit. And here we go again. Open, squeeze, close, release. Open, squeeze, close, release. So open, squeeze, close, release. Open, squeeze, close, release. Open, squeeze, close, release. Right, I'm going to do this bleed nipple up the top again because with that suction pump I don't think is working properly, or I'm not working it properly, one or the other. Anyway, it wasn't successful last time, so I'm going to do the same here now. So it's open, squeeze, close, release. Open, squeeze, close, release. Open, squeeze, close, release. Open, squeeze, close, release. Right, okay. Now, I have to get that pipe off without spilling any on the paintwork anywhere. You didn't think this through, Ivor, did you? So let's top this back up to the max. So that's that topped up. I've given this a good clean out in there. So go here. Tighten those up. There we are. Let's just pump the brakes, see. They feel a lot firmer. Right, now the next thing to do is just give it a little test ride. The good bit.